Okay, based on this flow, or the project will be initiated based on the customer need. So that's mean as engineer, usually we cannot initiate the project. It depends on the customer need because any developing of the process design or the project is based on the market demand. So we cannot just propose any project to the management. Usually based on the after the example of the marketing done with the marketing analysis to determine the customer need. And then after the project is initiated, whether by the marketing department or by the owner of the company, we may set the design specification. Example, if we tend to produce the ethanol as a desired product, so we set the design specification, including what is the capacity or the metric ton, maybe per day or per hour to produce the ethanol. And then after that, we proceed to the generate design concept. Usually in generating design concept, we propose a few alternatives or maybe a few ration pathway to ensure before we can optimize or select the optimum or the best alternative. Okay, in generating the design concept, somehow we validate it based on the fitness of the service. That means, example, if we have 3 alternatives to produce the ethanol, or we have different process in producing the ethanol, so we may start or we may validate it if we have the initial data, so we may perform the model, or we may validate it through the computer-aided design or CAD. So once we perform a build performance model, we can predict the fitness service. Or basically, these are the validation using computer-aided design. Or if we involve with a new product, or we have a project that require a new product instead of the existing product, we require R&D. So R&D department, research and development department may involve in these stages. And then after that, once we already come up with a few alternatives in generating the design concept, we may evaluate each alternative, example 1, 2, 3. So we may conduct the evaluation in terms of its economic, in terms of the selection of the design for each alternative. And we can, example, if we already select for one alternative, or maybe we find that, okay, this is not the best alternative, so we may regenerate the design concept. Or if we find that we may propose another appropriate alternative to be proposed, so we may proceed with generating another concept. Or in industry, we know these stages known as the conceptual design. And then after we perform the analysis here, so this is the analysis part, and then after that we may proceed with the detailed design, equipment and selection. Okay, for the detailed design is usually will be conducted after we already define the most appropriate or the most suitable alternative to be proceed with, or after we perform the optimization of the alternative. Then after that, before we proceed to the operation and proceed to the purchasing of the equipment, or to proceed with the detailed process, it should be approved by the customer. Who is our customer? Maybe it could be a manager or the owner of company. It could be the marketing department, or our society. It depends on the project. And then after we conduct the detailed design, we may proceed to the purchasing, or called as procurement and construction, before we begin operation. So these are the general of the process design development. Okay, the detail of the explanation for each stages, you can refer to this slide. So we start with the design objective if required, and then we proceed with the setting the basis design. Basically, this is the initiate of the project, such as the information of the potential site, what is the system of the unit, or if we have the basic diagram or the design, we may proceed or we start to have a basic design or basic information on that particular project. Okay, for the generating of possible design concept, it depends on the whether this project is based on the modification of the existing plan or the process, whether we come up with a new production that will lead to the involvement of R&D or a new processor. Usually for the new process, we require more disciplinary of the engineering, such as civil, mechanical, electrical, to involve with the project. And then for the fitness testing, usually we will conduct for each alternative before we can evaluate that alternative and come up with the most appropriate or the optimization of the alternative. Okay, the main criteria is based on the economic performance, or we conduct the economic analysis, which alternative give more profit to the process design, or other factor that we should consider also on the safety and environmental aspect. Okay, the main purposes to conduct the economic evaluation is to analyze the capital and operating costs in determining the rate return for that particular project. Okay, and then after we already define the most appropriate alternative, or which alternative could be obtain the optimum profit, or after we consider on the sustainability aspect as well, we may proceed with the detailed design. Usually the detailed design involve with the other engineering discipline, such as civil, mechanical, electrical, and also EPC. Somehow we can hire the third party or engineering, procurement, and construction, EPC, to conduct the detailed design. So it depends on the manpower or the expertise for that certain project, whether that certain company can proceed with their own detailed design, or pass all the detailed design to another third party, or hire the third party that conduct the engineering, procurement, and construction. And then we may proceed with the procurement, construction, and operation, including purchasing that involve with the invoice and also the quotation. So it depends. And also last, we can operate the project or begin the operation of the process design.